Hey, what's up? It's your tech bro Cholo here, and welcome back to where we take awesome out of the box. Now today we're going to be taking a look at the 2021 refresh of the Vivo Y31. Vivo is adding another budget mid-range phone to their 2021 lineup, dubbed the Y31. And if that name sounds familiar, just like I said in the intro, it is a refresh of the original 2015 model. So that we get a better idea of the update, let's run through the specs of the original release. It had a 4.7-inch IPS LCD with 312 ppi density. For the OS, we had Android 5.1 skinned with FunTouch OS 2.1. Powering that was a MediaTek MT6580 with a Mali 400 MP2 GPU. We had the minuscule, by 2021 standards, 8GB storage and 1GB of RAM. It sported an 8MP main camera that could shoot 720 at 30fps and a 2MP selfie camera. And lastly, it had a 2100 mAh removable battery. Saying that out loud made me realize just how far we've come with technology and how quickly it can move in such a short period of time. Technology is beautiful and frightening all the same. Next thing you know, we have like Skynet or something. Once again, I want to thank you guys for joining me. You and I are going to take a look at the 2021 refresh of the Vivo Y31. We get the usual blue and white box from Vivo with Y31 branding and some of the specs featured in the front. Nothing too new here. It's distinguishably Vivo. I'll start this with saying that you shouldn't worry about the charger, as the Y31 comes with an 18-watt wall charger in the box. You also get a USB-C cable, a true as blue trait for a modern smartphone. A headset, which I'm also very happy to say they still decided to include, a silicone case, and the usual documentation. Always keep that in case anything happens to your phone. I know we're not going out that much, but your phone can still fall once or twice. Tiles are just as hard as pavement, I think, and I'm really happy that we still get a silicone case. It's kinda ironic that the more affordable phones or even the mid-range phones include silicone cases and chargers and earphones, and the more expensive flagships don't. Anyway, let's take a peep at the design of the phone. The Y31 gets an updated design, inheriting the familiar design elements used on the V20 and X50 series, cementing its place as the newest in Vivo's updated and current lineup of smartphones. They grow up so fast. Like its more expensive siblings, the Y31 uses a frosted texture for the back panel, making it look premium while being smudge and fingerprint resistant at the same time. Music to my ears. The ocean blue color has a very subtle gradient that is pleasing to the eyes, and I gotta say, I'm loving the look of this smartphone. The color isn't over the top at all, and you guys know how much I like minimalistic designs. And the gradient really makes it look so much more premium. As for in my hand, it feels good, very smooth, but the texture of the back panel feels grippy enough for prolonged use or gaming. If you feel like it's lacking on the grip department, you have the included silicone case that could improve the experience for you. You get a side-mounted fingerprint scanner, which I prefer over back-mounted ones any day. It's very responsive and way more useful than a face scanner at this point, since we now live in a world of masks. Oh, that sounded heavier than I thought it would. The phone comes with a 6.58-inch Full HD Plus IPS LCD screen, with a 20:9 aspect ratio and resolution of 1080 by 2408. Yes, it's still an IPS LCD, but it's a much bigger one than the previous 4.7-inch one. It's a pretty good display, plus you get Widevine L1, which means you can watch both YouTube and Netflix in glorious Full HD. If you're looking for a dedicated media consumption device, this will be perfect for that, plus the battery, which we will talk about later in the video. With the familiar camera module, we see major improvements. You get a triple rear camera setup, which is 2 cameras more than the 2015 model. This is led by a 48MP AI camera, which is a whopping 40MP more than version 1. Plus, this is the first time Vivo's using a 48MP snapper on a Y series phone. And given the performance of V series phones that use the same camera, that would be the V15, V17 Pro, and V19 Neo specifically, we expect the Y31 to have a much better camera performance compared to its predecessor. The other two snappers are 2MP depth and macro sensors. Now, check out these photos. On the front, we have a 16 megapixel selfie snapper, which is 8 times more than the 2015 version. Here are some samples for you. It's been raining the last couple of days, so it wasn't that sunny, but I'm very happy with the selfies that I got from this. Now for the internals, it will be using a Snapdragon 662 processor for better overall performance. This is a good processor by 2021 standards and is perfect for its perceived price range. Coupled with the Adreno 610 GPU and 6GB of RAM, you can play most mainstream games on decent graphics with ease. And although it's a bit shaky with Asphalt 9, it still looked good and I got a clock in a few races. You'll also have a pretty fun, playable experience with Genshin Impact on low or lowest settings. I mean, if you're getting a Snapdragon processor here, you should be able to pick up those Snapdragon flowers in-game with no problem at all. And despite the settings I suggested, it still looks beautiful and I had fun participating in the event and doing my dailies on the vivo Y31. And I also played some PUBG, sucked, and died. But of course, we'll need to put it through the usual tests before we see the numbers behind the performance. But again, for a first impression, I was pretty happy with it. Finally, we have the battery, which is a big 5000 mAh that has 20 hours of life in PC mark. A huge leap from the previous 2100 mAh we had back in 2015. And with all the specs I mentioned earlier, you'll have fun watching full HD video and playing tons of games as well. Charging that big battery is an 18-watt charger, which again, I'm happy to say is included with the package. Plus, it supports fast charging, which is always a win in my book. But we're gonna have to put it through the usual tests to see how fast it can charge from 0 to 100 and how good that fast charging can be. Is that enough to get you curious about the vivo Y31? I know I was pretty hyped when I got the package and it did not disappoint. Stay tuned to the site as we get to know more about Vivo's upcoming budget mid-range phone as the brand releases more details about its eventual arrival here in the Philippines. Learn about this and many other smartphones on unbox.ph. And also don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you enjoy our videos. Hit the notification icon if you want to get them updates when we drop them videos. Once again, it's your tech bro Cholo, and I'll see you guys in the next one.